Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Cemetery. Today I want to be talking about spooky albums you should be listening to for Halloween. I don't know, I'm gonna list some albums. They're gonna go with the theme, I think. I'm gonna explain why I think they're a bit spooky and why they like fit perfectly for the month of October. So, first album is Sexless Demons and Scars by Jackoff Jill. I love this album. I think it's such a good album. I think it's perfect for October because it has this like kind of grungy, really rough like texture to the sound and to Jessica's voice. I love Jessica's voice as much as she's kind of problematic, I guess, if you get into like the whole lore. She's an amazing. Actually, no, she is pretty problematic. I forget. My bad. But her voice is amazing, and I think overall the themes are really great. It definitely kind of works with like spooky, like say if you're going as like, American McGee's Alice or something for Halloween. Great album. Pair it with that, like fits the vibes perfectly, if you know what I'm talking about there. Next album, which might have mixed opinions depending on what kind of music you're into, is The Drug in Me Is You by Falling in Reverse. As much as people hate on Ronnie Radke and Falling in Reverse, this is an iconic album. This is a really iconic album, especially if you are into emo music. More than likely you will love this album, or you already have heard of it. It's very iconic. And there's some great songs that are very spooky off this, I would say, like Don't Mess with Ouija Boards. Great song, great for Halloween. Just like, it's awesome. They'll play this at emo nights too. I'm sure in the month of October, if you go to them. Caught Like a Fly is another really good song off the album. It gives like circusy clown kind of vibes, which like fits Halloween. It's spooky clown. And kind of transitioning from that, the next album is, again, might have mixed opinions, but Riddle Box by Insane Clown Posse. Great album, really fits the spooky, just clown circus themes, obviously, with the band. I mean, they generally do that anyway. But it's just it's a fun album. Cemetery Girl. Wait, that's me. No. Cemetery Girl is a great song off that album. It's a very iconic song as well though, so like pretty popular. But Riddle Box, again, the name of the album, that's a great song off the album. There are some great songs on there, yeah, so I would definitely give it a listen. And it's probably one of the most kind of like on theme albums that I would be picking for today. The next one, album that I'm going to pick is Floodland by Sisters of Mercy. I'm going to make a whole separate video just on this album, but that'll be a while away. But this is my favorite album of all time. I love this album. It is, just one of the most iconic goth bands, post-punk bands. It's Sisters of Mercy. I love Sisters of Mercy. Andrew Eldritch, as much as he kind of, he's not the best character, and like currently live they don't really hold up. They are a great, it's just a great album. 11 out of 10 album. Like, there's no skips on it, in my opinion. So I would definitely give it a listen. It's very spooky. There's so many different elements to it, but I'm not going to get into it now. I'll get into it in a separate video. The next album I'm going to pick is Speak and Destroy by My Ruin. This is very similar. I mean, these kind of, with like Jackoff Jill, My Ruin, they all kind of fit into a similar genre, and they have similar voices as well. So Terry B, she's got an amazing voice as well. And I love My Ruin. And this album is great. I wanted to pick this album because like I thought Tainted Love, the cover on this album, kind of fits this like spooky vibe. So yeah, for that reason I would pick this. And there are a couple of other great songs, Monster and etc., that would fit the spooky vibes of Halloween. The next album I'm going to pick is more recent. I think probably the most recent album I'm picking today, just because a lot of the albums I picked are very kind of like a bit older and more iconic. This one came out this year. It's Fire by Kittie. I'm going to see Kittie next year. I got tickets, so I'm excited. I'm sure I'll tell you how that goes in the future. But this is a great album. I think Kittie's, newer albums are so underrated. I really feel like they're not talked about at all. The vocals on this album are amazing, as is all their albums. Even like Spit and stuff, their debut albums and everything are amazing as well. And kind of just have that spooky, rough kind of texture and vibe to it, if you kind of get what I mean. And yeah, I think the vocal specifically is what kind of gives it that like Halloween vibe, for me personally. Sorry if I'm using the word vibe too much. That's going to be a bit annoying, but whatever. Then, obviously, Halloween spooky, I had to go with the famous metalcore album, spooky metalcore, Creatures by Motionless in White. This is my favorite Motionless in White album, and I am a huge Motionless in White fan. They are probably the band that introduced me to metalcore, and then just like from there I went very much into branching out to all the other genres. So very big influence on me personally. I am definitely a Motionless in White girl. Love Motionless in White. Wish they would come. But Creatures, I think, specifically pulls off that Halloween vibe. It's so spooky. London in Terror, great song. Abigail, love that song. I mean, I also think it's pretty much a 10 out of 10 album. So give it a listen. Their early stuff is some of their best stuff. Although they are one of those bands that really pulls that spooky energy across all their albums, because, yeah, that's like the theme that a lot of these metalcore bands kind of go for. But yeah, it's a great album. The vocals are great. The strings, like he'll put strings in some of the songs too, and like, or synths, and like mix it with, the guitar riffs and stuff. It really is great. So yeah, give that one a listen. And from that, I can't really mention Motionless in White without mentioning Ice Nine Kills. So the next album I'm going to pick is The Silver Scream by Ice Nine Kills. Another iconic album, and probably one of the most iconic Halloween albums, that's out there. I really don't know. But yeah, Ice Nine Kills kind of are the band that really conveys the Halloween vibe the most. Obviously they just did a song for Terrifier 3. I'm yet to watch the Terrifier series, but I would probably in the future possibly do a video on my thoughts on the trilogy. But yeah, but the song, yeah, and Ice Nine Kills, yeah, has some great stuff. So very, very Halloween. And the last album to finish it off is Transylvanian Regurgitations by Rasputina. This is probably the most, least known band that I've picked today. They are a great band. They pull off, I forget what it's called, but it's like the steampunk circusy kind of genre, if you know what I'm talking about. But they're a great band. The use of I think she's a cello player. I forget now. I haven't, this is off the top of my head. But yeah, I think it's cello or violin, and it's just a bunch of strings, I think, the entire band, and they kind of put it together, and it's great sounding, and I think very spooky. I think the album title itself is pretty spooky, and then kind of just the themes of the album bring it all together. So I think it's a good one to finish on. That's my list. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great October, great Halloween, and tell me what you think of the albums. Bye!